1942 from Hartlepool I moved to Crewe. Found myself a job to do, working on the railway. I was wearing corduroy bridges, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway. 1843 I broke my shovel across my knee. Went to work for the company in the Leeds to Selby Railway. I was wearing corduroy bridges, digging ditches, pulling switches, dodging hitches. I was working on the railway.
Good evening and welcome. I'm feeling quite a lot better today. So you may not have COVID to blame, but if I mess up, it's just pure incompetence as opposed to illness. So let's introduce you who my support crew are tonight. We have the wonderful Ruby from over in Canada.
Good evening, everyone.
From the snowy north.
Snowy. Yeah. Well, actually, she's kind of quite a lot further south than we are.
Yeah, actually, all my snow is now gone, Brian.
Oh,
The grass is turning green.
well, good for you.
William of the Wood Store. I don't know if you saw his bowl video. Was it Thursday?
What bowl
Yeah, I
was
think it was
that?
Thursday it came out. But yeah, he's got some beautiful bits of wood in his store.
Oh, the Borellum. That's what it was. The Borellum.
Yeah. That was rather beautiful.
It was nice.
And we have Brian of the Broken Ribs.
Brian's broken ribs.
I resemble
So
that remark.
Back to the workshop.
Yes, tomorrow.
And we'll shortly after that be back on the lives.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
Get him back on the tools first.
Yeah.
Tools first. Yep.
Tell him where the on-off switches start with.
And we'll see how we go.
Anyhow,
It's that long
my
since
support
we've been in the
crew,
workshop.
and they will pass on or answer any questions you've got in the chat. Probably a bit of both. And
Do their best.
I'll get my camera to switch. This is what that board on the thumbnail ended up as. I filled this hole up with sawdust and wood glue. It was going to be resin, but I didn't have any resin. And because I had COVID, I couldn't go out and get any resin, despite the fact that Brian will say you can get it on Amazon.
You can.
Yeah, I didn't. I filled it with sawdust and shavings, bits and pieces, just filled the hole up. We'll see how it holds out. And this piece, corner to corner, just about fits on the lathe. It's 23 inches by 1.5 inches. So it's going to be a platter, obviously. I'm going to leave the corners on there because why not?
That's a big old piece, Pete.
Yeah, it's a nice piece of wood. Now, this particular lathe, but I would say with any sort of heavy piece of wood on any lathe, I'm going to do this little grub screw up on the back of the chuck. I'm not going to be reverse turning it, but this lathe's got an electronic brake on it. So if the lathe stops before the wood stops spinning, things can come unscrewed. So I'm just going to do that grub screw up, which I will probably forget. And when I come to take it off the lathe later on, I'll forget to undo that, but we'll deal with that at the time.
We'll remind
William will remind you. William will remind you. See, I gave you
I'm
one
also
job.
going to use a tailstock.
Yeah, I'm going to write it down here, Brian. Grub screw.
But there's little chance of me remembering.
There's no chance of me remembering. So I'm not sure if I am going to use a tailstock. It's quite a long way away. Hell no, I don't need tailstock support. That's just for wimps. Who needs that?
That's for wusses.
Don't much winding.
No comment.
Well,
Now I
I would have
do.
used it. I would have used it, but no more. That's just me.
I've got a video out there which shows how I've reversed this piece on this particular lathe. This is in the way, but I reversed it for doing quite a few things. I can get the tailstock 4 inches closer. It doesn't work on this because that wouldn't spin then. So lathe speed is down. Let's get it going.
And whilst he's winding it up to a stately 250 revs or whatever he's going to get out of that, I'll tell you who's in. We have door 60 in first. Woodwarn Paul's in along. Fred Gulliver, Paul Finlay. It's nearly said 2 words back to front there. Fred Finlay and Paul
See how
Gulliver
quickly
nearly
that
said.
stopped there.
That's clever. Yeah, I know. It could easily jar itself off, couldn't it? We've got
Yeah,
Posh Terry. Posh Terry's
Tony,
in.
he's not here, is he?
Yes, aye.
He is.
Oh, blimey. He's
Yep,
been in the middle of the
yeah.
Atlantic.
All the way from his boat in the Atlantic somewhere. Rob from
Supposed to
Coppola
get peace and
Woodton is in.
quiet.
Yeah,
Rob.
well, we will because he's not in. Jennifer's Craft and Creations is in. Wurzel the Wood Butcher is in. Doug Miller's also in. Steve Purkis, Lewis the Klondike Craftsman, Haley at Wooden Barrel, Mike Dances with Aardvarks, Todd from Glen Cove, Martin Dixon's in. My good lady Michelle's in from the sitting room. Zimbad is in. That's a new name. Welcome, Zimbad. You're welcome along to the channel. It's always nice to see new names in the chat. Mike Evans is in. Rob from Klingspor. Malcolm Douglas. Andy Cornelli. Roger Kant. Susie Swiss Woodturner's in. Rex B is also in. He was asking about my horses. I'll tell you in a minute. Albert Dawson's in. Mark Pritchard. Clint Wood Dancer. Steve Madden. Doug Bennett. Andrew from Wavy Woodshed. Andrew from AGK Woodworks is in. And currently, I think that is everybody. If I've missed somebody, don't shout at me because I'm old. We've got 60 people watching.
Yeah, I won't hear you.
I won't hear you. I've got the microphone in my deaf ear this evening, so or the earpiece in my deaf ear. So you'll be talking to yourself. Terry Badl's joined us. Rod. Yep.
Now Rex has a question. He wants to know, on a 4-corner platter bowl, what is the typical thickness do you leave the corners?
I need to put the volume up a bit. I can't hear you guys. Sorry, what was that question again?
On a platter bowl like this, what is the typical thickness do you leave the corners?
Okay, this one's going to be a bit of a strange design. Move ahead a minute. You can see that line there. That's about halfway. So I intend to curve it from the bottom up towards that. See, I've actually got a veiny edge of the plank here. So this is not going to be square when finished. It's going to be whatever shape it turns out as. So I'm going to turn it up to there as a curve from somewhere about here. Then I'm going to make the middle bit sort of typical platter base. And then I'm going to carve the top edge down. So this is not a typical platter. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll find out.
Yeah,
On
we'll
a
soon find out.
typical platter, I would leave it between 1/4 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch in thickness if you're not going to carve the top edge.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd probably end up once I've carved the top edge down, I'll probably round each of those edges, those bits off to about 1/8 of an inch thickness, because that gives you a nice thickness to hold. If you're too thin, it's Yeah, becomes fragile.
Yeah, it's not practical because if the first time the piece gets bumped by something or you drop it, then the corner snaps off and you've kind of defeated the whole purpose of having them.
Yep, it's really just basically it's just a design option, whatever you really feel like, whatever you want the design to be. But the standard sort of size, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, is pretty much standard, I would think.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, don't fall into that trap where people say, "Oh, you've got to turn it really thin to prove you're a turner."
Nonsense.
The end of the day is you want a piece that can be used and isn't going to break at the
Yeah.
slightest bump.
Used
It
and
also depends
abused.
on the timber quite a lot. I actually
Does.
design quite a lot by weight.
True, that's true.
Yep. Form is the most important thing. But if it's a functional piece, form and functionality come hand in hand.
I agree totally, Brian. Boy, this is setting a record. You and I are
I know
agreeing.
that's a couple of
Careful.
times we've agreed. This is not right.
We're
Oh
going to
dear.
have to get our stories straight before we go on live.
Yeah. Okay. We'll work. Oh, we'll work on that the next time.
Okay.
Have a script for
Lucy's
you
joined us.
next time.
Good evening, Lucy. What's
Hi,
this?
Lucy.
Hi,
Mark?
Lucy.
What's this?
Hi, Lucy.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I haven't
Mark
got a lot
P.
of
Sorry
speed
to
on
hear
the
that.
lathe here, so I'm moving the tool really slowly to compensate.
Have I missed something in the chat over the days? Lucy just said, "Hi, Mark P. Sorry to hear that you're in the hospice."
Yes, he did post that he was in hospice and watching from there.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
Vinny
Sorry to hear that, Mark.
Charlton has joined us. Good evening, Vinny.
Good
Hiya,
evening, Vinny. Oh, hopefully it's just pain control then, and Mark can go home again, he says.
Oh,
Well, fingers crossed, Mark. Hope
hopefully you pick up soon, buddy.
as soon as you can, yeah. Indeed. I love that noise. When you're doing a square thing or an uneven piece, and you get the sort of helicopter kind of noise.
Cut bang, cut bang, cut bang.
Oh, Lucy's been in from the start, she says, as Andy. Well, how to confuse somebody, Lucy? I mean,
Well,
Brian, we're just confused all the time, so it doesn't make any difference.
well, this is true, of course. This is true. I put that down to old age.
No, you have to blame it on being a guy.
Yeah, that's probably it, yeah. Just as a man thing then, everybody, is it a man thing?
Right. Wayne the Woodturner has joined us. Hi, Wayne.
hello, Wayne.
Good evening, Wayne. How
Hiya,
the
Wayne.
devil are you? Hope you're well, buddy.
Right, my filler hasn't worked.
Oh,
Still soft in the middle.
too
Oh,
close.
never
I guess,
mind.
eh?
We'll deal with that later. So I think I'm going to go about there for the size of the platter. So I'm going to be curving this to
Okay.
this middle
Good.
line
To the line.
from about there, and then we'll deal with that in a minute.
So this may be a platter with a decorative hole. Excellent.
It certainly looks like it's going to be a platter with a decorative hole.
Excellent. They're the best kind.
Possibly a piece that'll fly off and hit me in a bit.
Don't say that.
You better
see,
have a face shield on then.
There's a crack all the way through here, which goes most of the way through. But hey, Mark gave me this, so it's obviously intended to hurt me.
Yeah, well, that's no comment. Lucy says, Brian, I'm just so short that you didn't see me. Oh, Lucy.
That'll be it.
Were you hiding behind Andrew AJK? AGK even. I can
AGK.
never say that right.
AGK.
Or AGUK, we're just going to call that from now on. It's easier to say.
And Mark says the staff at the hospice are so caring and nice and that they treat you like a person. That's really good to hear, Mark. I'm glad you're getting good care.
Rex has pointed out there are 66 people watching, only 9 thumbs up on this channel. What's going on there, boys?
Yeah, come on, folks. Please hit the thumbs up.
I clicked it.
Show Pete a bit of support.
I just clicked it.
No, it's going up. 24 now, Pete.
Todd wants to know what
Yes,
kind of download speed Terry's getting on the boat.
Dial up.
You remember that
Well,
funny
let's
noise
say
he used to get?
on Steve's on Friday, his audio was clearer than Colwyn's, so the boat's
It was.
better than Lyme Regis.
Yeah. Yeah, Colwyn's audio was bad, right enough, I have to say. He's an interesting guy to talk to.
Yeah. He seems a hell of a nice fella.
He has lots of good stories to tell. He has done a lot in the years he's been wood turning. And Lewis wants to, go on ahead, Ruby, go on ahead.
Lewis wants to know if you could stop Pete and troubleshoot his PC sound.
Yeah, of course.
Terry's on satellite internet, 100 megabits per second, it says. I was amazed there was no delay on Terry's internet the other night. Because I had to go from the ship up to a satellite and then back down again. But then I suppose most of it does these days anyway.
Yeah, it does.
It kind of goes from me here, it goes from me to Dublin to a huge warehouse place with 4 great big satellite dishes on it, and it fires up to a satellite and then it goes elsewhere. Lucy wants to know where Terry, where in the ocean are you? He's on the water, Lucy.
On the top, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, floating
Yeah,
on it.
hopefully on the top.
With a bit of luck, he's floating on it.
Yeah, most
I think he wants to be more direct than that as to which ocean, for example.
Well, he's on the Atlantic because he's on the prison ship going to the colonies. So.
That's correct. He's 1,000 miles from the Bahamas, he says.
On the Bahamas, yeah.
Well, if you're heading over there, just stop off and visit Lewis and myself.
There you go. That's where he's going. He's going to the Caribbean. He's doing the whole Caribbean tour. So, Pete, what glue did you use in that inclusion?
I used standard wood glue, but obviously didn't leave it enough thin layers. I've been feeling pretty rough all week, so it's done in a hurry.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll let you off. All right.
In theory, it should work, but you kind of need to do a bit, leave it for an hour, and then come back and do a little bit more. And I obviously didn't leave it enough time, so I've got this soft spot in the middle, which still got liquid glue in it. Hey ho, didn't work.
Well, see, we've all learned something from your experience.
Shouldn't have been so lazy and bought the.
Should have ordered the resin, Pete.
I can't even bring myself to say the word.
I was so tempted to order some resin and do this with resin.
You should have said I could have sent you some.
And then I just thought, don't be daft.
Pete's as fond of resin as I am of colour.
Just make a mess of my workshop.
Now, if Ruby was coming over, I could do it because Ruby will clean it up. She's good at cleaning workshops.
Rob the Prof is in. I never noticed him earlier. Evening,
Hey,
Rob.
Rob. How you doing, buddy?
So you're letting your chips and stuff accumulate just for my coming over.
Yep. From now till you arrive with him. So
Well, that's all right.
it may take a while to clean it.
When I got done, he had twice as much room as he did before.
Yeah, I can believe that. Mike, you from Millminster's just joined us. Good evening, Mike.
Evening, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Terry says to
I got
Doug,
up
we are
with
going to Bermuda, but the weather was so bad it was cancelled. Who wants to go on a boat?
Florida and the Bahamas have not been very warm this year at all.
Well, they're heading south to avoid the storm. So when you see penguins, Terry,
It's time to turn around and come back.
You might think you've gone too far. (18°C on the Bournemouth seafront today, said Lucy. It wasn't anything like 18 degrees here.
We had 14 here today, Brian.
Yeah, well, it was about, well, nah, it was only about 10 or 11 here today. It was
No,
warmer here yesterday.
We were about 10 or 11 below here.
Oh, goodness me.
Well, actually, later in the week, though, we're going to be about 14, and I'll be able to switch from my winter clothes to shorts.
Well, here's a technical question. Mike says, does blue tack leave a residue on wood? If so, is it easy to clean off? Now, in my
yes,
experience,
if you don't leave it on for too long.
Yeah.
If you put it on there, use it, and then take it off again, it comes off clean. But if you leave it on there, it does tend to mark it.
But you can remove that. The stain it leaves behind can be removed by alcohol.
I find most things can be removed with alcohol, including memories.
I know. but we're not talking about Doombar, Pete.
External things, Pete.
Okay, so I was going to use compass just to be different.
Oh, Martin Dixon's just said the Bermuda bit was cancelled to avoid the triangle. Otherwise, Pete would be turning a lot longer on Sundays.
And actually, well, Terry just said that the restaurant is calling and he has to go for dinner now.
Bye, Terry.
Cheers, Terry.
You enjoy yourself, Terry.
We're missing you terribly.
Okay, so I was going to use a pair of compasses and mark my circle just because it's a different way of doing it. And I haven't done it in ages. And I broke the lead in the pencil, so hey, stuff that.
Now, are you using a tennis or a mortise on this?
I'm going to go for a mortise.
Is the mortise staying there?
Temporarily. Too fast. My lathe started walking about then. Yeah, the mortise will stay in there. But I will smooth the edges in and hide it that way.
Oh, okay. That is a stunning piece of wood.
It is a nice piece of wood.
Yeah, it really is.
Right. Now, I like a large mortise and a platter. I don't know why. I just do. But also I find that quite often with platters, you need to come back and do a bit of finishing. So there might be finish in a day, but you then spend 2 or 3 days just sort of finishing off the detail. So to be able to remount it is quite useful.
Robert Klingspor has added a little bit to the blue tack debate. He says, use white tack. It's water-based rather than solvent-based. There you go.
Well, Susie has a question there. She says, which of the earworms has their message received sound on so loud? Can hear it all the time. Well, it's not mine anyway.
It was Pete, I think.
Yeah, I think I've just had a load of messages coming through. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. We just hear the
That's
bleep
okay,
as it
Pete.
comes in.
So a lot of people saying, turn the lathe down, you twit.
I don't
Lucy
think so.
says, I've always loved Bournemouth, just avoid it in the summer. That's when you get all them touristy people coming, isn't it, Lucy? It's a bit like Newcastle County Down. It's fine in the winter when there's no tourists.
One of my messages was from Rob Summerlin, and he's just joined us. So welcome, Rob.
Oh, hi,
Hey,
Rob.
Rob.
We just
Welcome
I
lost
along,
Rob.
Rob.
messaged him that I was earworming for you, Pete. He's just come out with an improvement on his superior grit, and it works like a charm.
Brilliant.
Cool. Excellent.
Yeah, the best part is he lives close to me. Like he's only a 40-minute drive away.
You
That's
know, we've
close.
had the pleasure of having you on live on your workshop. It's usually Rob that causes it. He comes in and just sets it up and doesn't tell you.
Ah, indeed.
That's right. He's my camera person.
Oh, look. Right, the boy's late as usual.
Hello, Roy. Better late than never.
That's true.
Indeed. He's getting a reputation for being late. Oh, Chris from Bailey's Woodworks is in too.
Hey,
Hi,
Chris.
Hello and welcome everybody.
67 people watching. Excellent.
So no
Come
pressure,
on, my
Pete.
design around this hole here.
Yeah, we'll fill it with resin later, Pete.
No, we won't.
Send it to me and I'll fill it with resin.
You
Goodness
didn't have
sake.
to think of that answer. It just rolled off your tongue.
Lucy says,
I
Brian,
want to
they'll
keep
come
this
up to salt.
edge to
Yep.
some extent, at least the shape of it, if not the actual bark on the edge there. But,
You
this
make
trick
it
can
happen.
go.
Roy, the boy's trying to make a reputation for himself. He says, people wouldn't expect anything else from me. Well, you're making that reputation, Roy, for sure. And Lucy says, Brian, they come up to Salisbury to see a pile of ancient stones in some sort of church we have. Oh, I see. Some tourists again.
Right, so I'm going to speed back down to 400-ish.
Mark picked up something to go. He says, sorry, but I need to go back to sleep. Take care, everyone. You
care,
take
buddy.
care, Mark.
You mind yourself.
Take it easy, buddy. Chris Seymour says, I had to watch this one. It was a bloody awful tree to get down without destroying the listed war memorial, and even harder to get in the back of Pete's van.
Now Pete's making that sanding look easy, but it's not that easy to
No.
do when
Just
the
going to
piece
talk
is
about that.
thin.
Because we're sanding a lot of open space, you do have to be a little bit aware. Keep the sanding disc down low and tilted at the right angle so that it doesn't catch.
Yeah, and trust me, you don't want it to catch.
No, it's not fun. So
No.
I was told.
Very quickly drag your knuckles in there.
You also remember, of course, now you haven't got the tool rest there to warn you, arm away from that corner.
As well as power sanding, that's air sanding. Right, Mark.
Well, you know, air does sand up very nicely, Brian.
Hmm.
You should try it sometime.
It does.
It doesn't wear out your sandpaper either.
I thought it was
You
a great
reckon it lasts
opportunity.
well?
I thought it was a great opportunity to clean your sanding disc.
Yes, Rob, the air is just as smooth as the wood.
I'm going to change batteries. Should have charged it earlier. I forgot. More like it.
But if you're nervous of this type of sanding, just stop it and sand the corners, you know, stationary.
Exactly.
There is going to be some fettling on these edges later on.
That's very good advice. If you're not sure, switch it off. Sand it manually. I haven't seen Rob Klingspore's usual comment.
Yeah, he says, don't wear out sandpaper. I
Yeah, but
don't like air sanding.
he usually comes in and says, this is the exciting bit.
Well,
He
he's
does,
right.
sure.
This is the exciting bit.
Yeah. Not only have you got the edges to get down, you've got that inclusion as well.
That's true.
Martin Dixon says, if you're not sure, get somewhere else. Yeah.
That's good advice.
Would you like to sand this for me? Yeah. Rob from Klingspor says, oh, sorry. I was mesmerised watching a master sander at work.
Hey, it's true. Pete was doing a really good job of it.
Now, see, what I should do is call him out on that and say, well, you're the expert. Get
Yeah.
over and do the sanding for me.
Can't wait to see this with some finish on it.
Yeah, I was just want to say when that gets a bit of oil or whatever you're putting on it, will pop.
It will.
Yeah, it's a
I'm just
very
going to do the four
interesting
corners
grain.
for it stationary, and then I'll blend that back in again with as I rotate it.
So Rob wants to know what kind of finish you're going to use, Pete.
Sorry, what was that?
What Rob wants to know what kind of finish you're going to put on it.
Definitely oil on the outside. I'm thinking about wax on the middle part, just for the fun of it.
Well, Rob
No,
just finished doing a bowl that he sent me a picture of and using his new product, and it really is shiny.
Cool.
Norman
Right,
Greenwell has joined us. Good evening,
Goodbye.
Norman.
Hi,
Sorry,
Norman.
Brian.
You're all right, mate. No bother. Welcome along, Norman.
Now, Rob says he said demos. He says to customers, "If I do it for you, you are never going to be fulfilled as a person."
Oh, God.
Holy moly.
That's deep and meaningful, Rob. Which is unlike you.
I don't know. That makes sense to me.
Oh,
So that's that bit of bark.
unfulfilled because they didn't do sanding.
Right. They didn't complete it themselves.
I've got a confession to make.
Go on then.
I didn't cut it very well, so I had to start with that grit. So now we've got the 120.
Oh, Lewis says, those that cannot do, sell, so they say.
If only we could sell, you'll all be rich.
That's very un-Canadian of you, Lewis, I have to say. Rob comes back with, damn it, Pete, and I was bigging you up as well. That's always a mistake. Lewis sells, you do. Never worry, Lewis. You can do it, buddy. I sell stuff too, occasionally.
Yeah, it's good too.
I like the way this looks even while it's spinning. Lewis says he still has no heat in his shop.
No.
Why not?
Yep.
Well, I thought that was getting fixed.
Well, we've had some pretty cold temperatures recently. By middle of next week, it's supposed to warm up.
Yeah, but it's been
Rob,
weeks that Joe's not had any.
yeah. Rob says that he doesn't sell; he fulfills his customers' wildest dreams.
Oh, God.
I'm saying nothing.
No comment.
No comment is right.
I was going to say that doesn't fulfill my wildest dreams.
Yeah, sandpaper's not something or sorry,
No,
they shouldn't
no.
call it sandpaper. They should call it abrasives these days. It's not
No,
something I dream about.
Brian, Roger wants to know how your horses are.
I've seen that. I was just about to answer that. Horses are fine, Roger. They're all wintering very well, apart from the one horse who has the Cushings, and he has a sprung hock, which is a problem when the tendon that goes over the back of the hock pops off where it should be and can never be replaced. The horse just has to get used to walking in a different kind of way. So he's in a bit of pain, and he's on pain medication to try and help him. But he's coping quite well. Other than that, they're all grand. Touch wood. And Rob from Klingspoor says, shh, sick note. Don't you start.
Do we shed us in?
Hi, Dewey.
Coming in. How you doing, buddy?
Lewis says, if I don't have a new unit this week, you'll see it on the news. Somebody's going to be in trouble. What has Michelle been saying? Hold on a minute. Let me go back a bit. What has Michelle been saying?
Now, Lewis, why will it be on the news? What are you going to do?
I think there may be a supplier issue there.
Tell you what, that piece of wood is pretty.
It is
It
nice
is.
feet, yeah,
Certainly
definitely.
is.
Shut up, Rob.
Oh,
And what are you laughing at, Ruby Claire?
What's Rob saying?
I could just picture one of your horses falling off the tractor, Brian.
Rob from Klingspoor just put in the chat, he says, I thought for 1 minute Brian was going to say the horse is not doing too well. He fell out of the tractor.
No, No, Lewis, I don't want there to be 71 accessories.
The only thing I can say to that is the horse isn't that daft.
That's true, and he's probably better balanced.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah.
He's 2 extra legs.
He's got a leg in each corner.
Well, that's all you have to do, Brian, is grow 2 more legs.
Yeah.
And Lucy says she now has an image of the horse driving the tractor.
Oh, why the long face?
Is Mark Beckett in the chat, or has he gone out to dinner now?
I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him, Pete. No.
I think he's
No,
out
he
to
was
dinner.
going to have dinner tonight. I was going to take the mickey out of Kim at that point, but as she's not there, I won't bother
No.
with tractor
Well,
driving.
save it for another time.
Yeah.
Oh, tractor driving, yeah.
Okay, now opposite the where is it?
There.
Opposite this, I've got a mark here, so I'm obviously bouncing off and not landing in time. I'm going to do that
There,
bit
yeah.
separately.
Ah, I can actually see it then, I think.
Yeah, it's just coming off that inclusion.
Oh,
It's not standing properly in that point.
Mm-hmm.
Martin says the best bit is the horse is pushing Brian along with the tractor.
He's all making good value out of this.
Just remember, horses were around long before tractors were.
Mm-hmm.
They were the original tractor, weren't they?
Yep.
And they
That's
smell
right.
better too.
Much, much better. The world wouldn't be where it is now without horses.
You got that right.
I mean, it's the horses brought the world's in a mess then.
We wouldn't be as advanced without horses. Nor would we been able to colonize America to start with.
Well, when I worked out west in my youth, we had 400 horses that we were caring for at the time.
Whoa.
There was a lot of horse manure to move and a lot of shoveling out of a barn.
I'll bet you.
But we used them for taking people on trail rides back into the mountains in Alberta, the Rocky Mountains.
I'm trying to hold the imagination of exactly as it was with that hole in place. But as I imagine this piece, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this bit and wax it. These outer bits, they are going to have carving on them and all sorts, so that will be oiled because I don't want to put my fingers here when I'm waxing.
No, it's going to be hard to wax those corners.
So I want this bottom bit to be nice and shiny, so I'm going to wax that. Not worry too much about this middle bit because that's going to be finished later. But this circle here. So a little bit of sanding sealer, and then we'll see how it pops as well.
Well, there you go, Brian. You can replace your horse with a Ford Mustang.
I probably could, yeah. If you could buy a Ford Mustang in this country. I have 2 lovely Ford tractors, though.
Imagine trying to drive around on Irish roads in a Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I know.
You'd be taking the hedge down on either side.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Andrew AGK says that's a lot of horse poop. It is when you consider a horse can poop between 10 and 14 times a day.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
That's a lot of shoveling.
It is.
It's a lot of good roses, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised with the fact that horse manure is good for roses because there is very, very little nutrients left in horse manure. It takes it to be well rotted. but people used to collect it and put it directly onto the roses.
Yeah.
It makes a great mulch and stops weeds coming up through, but there's not a lot of nutrients in it. But maybe that's what roses need. They just need whatever's in it, you know.
There must be something else in it that they like.
Must have been.
Or it was just a good propaganda system to get people to pick up the horse muck and clean the roads.
I know, you see, Martin Dixon says, I thought I'd had a couple of Irish Land Rovers, Brian. I have a couple of nice Ford tractors, a Ford 6610 and a Ford 3910, both over 25 years of age.
Now, Dewey's Shed has a question. He wants to know how to get rid of tear out on a sweet chestnut when making a deep goblet.
Sweet chestnut can be difficult.
Very sharp tools, and be very careful of the grain direction that you're cutting in.
Yeah, sharp tools like cuts. But sweet
Don't
chestnut
use a
can
scraper.
just sometimes just tear. Same as horse chestnut. You have a beautiful piece of wood, and then one section of it would be like trying to turn porridge. Just no structure to it at all.
And that's about all the advice there is on that subject, I think. Get it as good as you can, then sand the rest.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tear out. It's
I-
hard to
I-
get rid of with sandpaper.
Yeah. I wouldn't be using, well, yeah, it is, but if you can get it as good as you can with nice sharp tools,
Mm.
you can probably finish it with sandpaper. But I wouldn't be using any sort of scraping tool on it.
No.
I don't know if there's anything on free video. But I've forgotten his name now. There is a lot about preparation of wood and getting it so that it has less chance of tearing out. Now you probably don't have that choice because you've got a piece of wood that you've got to use, but the chainsawing stage can make a big difference to how it tears out, and then on down through the bandsawing stage. So I'm going on with some true grit now.
Todd Glen Cove says, my neighbour tried putting horse manure on the roses, but the people at the flower shop took exception to it. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's a good comment you made about the chainsawing and bandsawing the wood, because depending on how you've cut it, whether it's slightly on a bias or directly with the grain, can affect how it will cut.
Yeah, I watched somebody not that long ago on YouTube who was explaining it all quite well. I can't remember who it was.
Wasn't Thomas Love Thomas Ackman, was it?
No, I don't think it was.
Now, Lewis made a good point that if you put some oil on the finishing cut, it can help.
Yeah,
that's true.
Wax can help sometimes too.
Okay, so I've put the
Nice.
true grit on there. I'm going to have to watch my fingers down here because that includes them, like he's trying to take them off. We'll be okay.
Well, it'll color the wood red. That's all.
Just
Yeah,
not a nice colour. Yeah.
This is too nice a piece of wood to colour.
It might make a pretty spectacular splatter pattern, though.
On the wall.
Yeah.
You know, the centrifugal force would take it.
This is the same as any abrasive paste. You just got to give it a bit of time. It breaks down and it gathers those sharp bits of rock. Makes a finer abrasive.
Now, Rob makes a good point of being careful mixing anything with sandpaper. You have to make sure the sandpaper is cloth backed and that you don't get it too hot, as the oil will turn to fumes. And remember, you're breathing that in.
That's a good point.
It's true.
Yep.
He probably would recommend that you use Klingspor paper as well.
Oh, of course he would. Yeah, I would think so.
I'm sure he would. Yeah.
I'll be disappointed if he doesn't.
Of course, if you use some of Rob's wax for sanding with, that'll keep the dust down as well.
I believe the products are very similar, just in different countries.
Rob from Klingspor's just put in the chat, he says, is there any other type, Ruby?
I don't think so, because when I looked at the stuff in my closet the other day, it all had Klingspor on it. Although I do think I'm going to have to purchase some more when at the next wood show.
Oh, Rob will be happy about that.
I'm sure he will be.
Apparently he has kids to feed.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he gets commission on the American stuff, though.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, this is Canadian stuff.
Still paying his wages, aren't they?
Yeah, but is Canada got his own warehouse, or does it import?
Don't know.
Because if it imports, then Rob will be pushing to get it imported from the UK.
Fun fact from Rob, we are the third biggest producer in the world.
Wow.
There you go now. That's a lot of abrasive.
I've never seen Klingspor abrasives around where I live here.
No, I'd never heard them till Rob came about his place. I'd never heard of them. But then
Really?
apparently it's in the automotive industry like mad here. That's what they use all the time. Just the wood turners had never heard of it.
I think it's been big in the metalwork industry for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Cars,
Yeah.
automotive, body shops, places like
Yeah.
that, they all use it. Apparently.
Now, Rob says, fun fact is that Canada is the second largest market for cutting discs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we do have a lot of automobile manufacturing companies here.
Yeah, you also have a lot of people who do it themselves in Canada.
True.
You know,
Yeah, and
far
those
more,
moves by a
far
lot
more
of
so than the UK or anything. You know. Ow. .3M and Saint Gobain. Never heard of them. Heard of 3M, but never seen Gobain. Yeah, but they are.
Now, 3M I'm familiar with, but
Yeah,
Saint
same.
Gobain, no. Lewis makes a good point that we take our moose horns off with those discs.
Eh.
Yeah, but you're not going to use many discs on imaginary creatures, are you?
No, they're not.
Mythical.
Mythical creatures, yeah.
They actually
Yes,
crap on top of automobiles in the wintertime as they walk over the tops of them.
Marshall says, I can't say there's much Klingspor in my drawers. Maybe I might get some like Mick did. Mr. Jews.
Lucy has a question. She says, is anyone else having the stream buffering randomly tonight? No,
Nope.
not on my
Not
end anyway,
here.
Lucy.
It must be your house, Liz. Saint-Gobain are the world's biggest glass maker. Most cars have Saint-Gobain glass in them. Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay, so a bit of wax for this middle bit. Just buffed up roughly.
That is
Pretty piece
pretty.
of wood.
It's a nice bit of wood, yeah, definitely.
It is.
I'm not going to worry about these outsides for now because I'm taking a chainsaw to them later on. No, I'm not. I'm taking an architect to them. And they're going to be easy to get at later on to do other things with.
Have you just read Todd's comment there, Ruby? Is that why I love him?
Yeah, Todd wants to know if moose horns are as loud as car horns. They have a totally different shape, so they have a totally different sound.
Guess what I remembered?
Grub
To
screw.
undo the set screw?
I remembered to undo this grub screw, yeah.
Oh, Marcel doing it then. Didn't see Marcel coming in. Good evening,
Hi,
buddy.
Marcel.
Well, that's interesting that Saint-Gobain owns Norton Industries in the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
Just need to get a measurement from here because I did know it and I forgot it.
It's funny that, Pete. I have that disease too. It's called sizology.
Chucky ain't going to work. It's not long enough.
Not long enough, Junkie. Oh dear.
Pete has a spare one.
Yeah, got a longer one.
That picture of the point of that almost looks like it's between the bedways.
It does,
Yeah, it
doesn't
kind
it?
of is close. When I had that bit of 3mm hardball under it just now, it wouldn't rotate. So it's that close.
Now, Brian, Todd can tell that you're feeling better because when you laugh, you no longer moan at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I can laugh a little bit now. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have to
You,
pick himself up off the floor.
you don't see the shape of me when I try and sneeze though. Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Trying to hold the ribs together and sneeze at the same time is not a fun look.
That's when you want a third hand.
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pinch the grub screw out of here because I don't actually have one in this chuck. I'm going to pinch this one and put it in there. I think it'll fit.
So Dewey was asking where we could buy Klingspor hook and loop rolls. The answer is Mark.
Yeah. Mark
Rob
Beckett,
Storm.
woodturners.uk.
That's it.
Yeah, the net hook and loop really hold up well.
Is there any distributors in Southern Ireland, Rob?
You looking for a job, buddy?
No. No.
I don't think there is, because Gerard's asked this question in the past.
Oh, right.
Mark will post there, but obviously these days it's
Yeah, it'll work out
not
pretty
as easy as
expensive.
it used to be.
No.
Yeah.
Lucy wants to know what the wood is.
Ash.
It's a piece of ash, Lucy.
Right, I'm going to stand out of the way and turn this on just in case. Didn't come off.
Well, I'm glad.
Me too.
For sure.
I'm even more glad.
Brian, you had your eyes closed.
Didn't. I was hiding behind my fingers, you know, when you look through your fingers.
He's peeping out from under the bench.
Unknown quantity
no.
is once I cut this dried bit of stuff off of here, that could be a complete hole through, or I don't know what's going to happen. We'll figure out when we get there.
Well, it's making it interesting for us, that's for sure. Rob says, no, sadly, we have an agreement with a company called Keypoint that are the only ones in Ireland. You ever heard of Keypoint, William?
No, I never did.
Nope. There you go.
Is that Northern or Southern Ireland, Rob?
Ireland. He wouldn't refer to the north because we're part of the UK still.
Yeah.
And he does say Ireland, I-R-E, Ireland. Rob says both. Oh dear.
Yeah, that's a problem that never used to be, but it is now.
Well, there's nothing to stop it now because there is, if it's product is destined to stay in the north where I live, it does. There are no checks on it at all now.
Now, which part of Ireland are you in, Brian?
I'm in the north of Ireland, County Down, which is part of Ulster, which is the bit that still belongs to the UK.
And William, where are you?
I am in Leinster, which is in Southern Ireland, Republic of Ireland.
William's house is about, what, 70 miles from? No, a bit more than that.
A bit more.
120 miles maybe?
Yeah, in around there.
To your house from me?
Yeah.
And
3 hour
Grandpa,
drive. So.
Yeah, 3 hours drive.
Grandpa Jim has just joined us. Welcome,
Hi, Jim.
Jim.
Hey, Jim.
He says he's just checking in.
Good to have you.
We are pleased that you're here.
Definitely are.
You know, I was quite surprised that having sore ribs, you know, what I find the most difficult is standing up for any length of time.
That's odd, isn't it?
It gets really painful when you stand up for a long time.
I can kind of get that, yeah.
It's amazing just how much your ribs have an effect on your body.
For sure.
Well, your abdominal muscles are the ones that hold you erect, so it makes sense.
That's true, yeah. It's true.
And I agree, Lucy, that William has a nice soft accent.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Ruby.
He has. He has a good accent. He has a good voice for radio.
He has a pretty face too, Brian.
Oh, stop it. Oh, God.
Thank you, Ruby.
Oh, you crawl.
You don't be mean, Brian.
I'm not mean at all.
Hey, Brian,
He has a
just
face
because
only a
women
mother could
get
look.
older doesn't mean they don't still look at
Well,
men and, you know, assess them as to how good looking they are.
I never said that was the case now, Ruby. Yeah. You're quite right.
The only trouble with looking at someone like Pete is that he's so darn tall, you almost break your neck looking up.
Neck strain looking up, yeah.
I was just reading
Ah,
Todd's
Susie.
comment there. He says 120 miles, 3 hours. I used to have a car like that. Oh, nice.
120 miles,
Yeah, it's not that far.
that's only an hour and a half away.
And not in our roads.
Lewis's
it is,
driveway
is
is longer than that.
Not in our roads, Ruby.
Not in our roads, Ruby. Behave yourself.
Yeah.
The maximum
Most
speed
of them-
limit is only 70 here.
Most of them still have grass down the middle.
Now, William, when are you going to start doing lives?
Oh.
Your audience is waiting for you.
I'm still
No, he
waiting for
says.
stable internet.
He said no. He says never go do it. He said no, I'm not doing it. He says no. So he needs a bit more encouragement. Mark at Turnigan Craft is in. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Mark. I'm changing gauge purely because that one's gone blunt. I'm too lazy to sharpen it right now.
Oh, you lazy so-and-so. That's why you have multiple gouges, Pete.
You're just jealous, Brian.
Oh, I've got multiple gouges too.
That's
I've got
Probably
far
more.
too many gouges. The truth be told. And an expensive sharpening system to go with. And you're no better, Miss Claire, I have to say.
Well, if I'm teaching students, each student has to have a set of
There you
tools.
go. See, there's always an excuse for buying more tools. How many lathes have you got, Ruby Claire?
7.
Yeah, right. I rest my case, Your Honour.
Yeah, most people only have seven gouges.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have 7 for each lathe.
Yeah.
To be fair, Ruby doesn't need much space between her lathes because she's
It's
a hobbit as well.
Oh, I was going to say, I was going to say she's petite, but there you called her a hobbit.
Well, Terry and I are close to the same height.
Yeah, but then Terry's tiny.
Actually, Todd, my basement is not that large.
It's just well organized. Compact and bijou, is that what you're going to say?
So I've had a piece fly out of there. And that split goes across that way, so I think that'll be all right.
I'd be wanting to maybe cut towards the outside then, Pete.
Yeah,
Inside out.
Ward Wilson's joined us. Hi, Ward.
actually, I don't need
Hey,
to
Ward.
cut a lot more on the outside because I'm going to be carving all of that. So,
Oh, right. All right, okay.
And
might
Todd,
circle.
just so that you know, Pete wouldn't be able to come down in my basement because he'd have to wear a hard hat because his head would be hitting the rafters.
Yeah, Ruby has hard hats in the basement, especially for people of normal height.
Right. Hobbits have no problem in my basement.
Right,
You
so
having
everything outside of that circle is getting carved.
Oh, I was going to
All
say
I've
you
got to
having a
worry about is
bead.
the inside of it. Yeah, a little bead there. And then
Yes, Rob Summerlin has been in my basement, and he'd like to see Pete in my shop.
yeah, it's not going to be an easy cut because I've still got this inclusion to get around, which it's going to be an exclusion. It's coming out in chunks. It'll be fine.
And Rob has a vision of you on your hands and knees crawling around my workshop, Pete. Well, that's okay, Rob. When I'm at Pete's place, I have to stand on a ladder to get to his lathe. What did you figure it was, Pete? 11.5 inches too high for me?
Yep. I've lowered it a bit.
1.5 inches.
Yep.
Yeah, I've lowered it a bit. This one's not as high as the other one. Be all right now. It's only about 9 inches now.
Well, that'll make a difference.
Again, I've got very little speed on the lathe. I compensate by moving the tool really slow.
I've just read that too, Ruby.
Pogo stick wood turning. New extreme sport. Yeah.
I'd go for it. I think it'd be fun. I used to actually be good on a pogo stick when I was a kid.
I did try a pogo stick, but no, I was never very good at it. Maybe that's why I fell off the tractor.
Did you ever try stilts, Brian?
Yes, I can do stilts.
Yeah, those are fun.
Not great big ones, like just sort of foot, 2 foot, that sort of size.
Fun is in the deep snow trying to walk with stilts.
Yeah, it's not a good move, that.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Well, it was a challenge because where I grew up, we got a lot of snow in the winter.
I have a friend who's a plasterer, and he does industrial buildings and museums and things. He does their ceilings, and they just basically put on stilts in the morning and leave them on all day.
Yep.
They just got so used to walking around in them.
Now,
But,
Pete, how tall are you?
I'm only 6'3". I'm not tall.
Is all, he says. Is all 6'3".
And that's
He's a big lad, Harvey.
that's in his bare feet.
Oh yeah.
He's a big lad.
When I got my stilettos on, I'm a lot taller, obviously.
6'9" with your 6-inch heels on, yeah. We know. But only on a Friday night.
I thought Pete was a little taller than 6'3".
He seems like it when you're standing beside him, believe me.
Ward Wilson says, I'm 5 foot and 14 inches. I think you're confused, Ward. Lucy says her stepson is 6'9". That's basketball
moly.
player size. That's needs a job
That
in a
is
basketball
tall.
court. That is tall, yeah.
Yeah. If he fell, he'd be halfway home.
Todd chips in and says, twice your height, Lucy. That's about unkind, Todd.
Shouldn't be a void there.
Shouldn't be.
That's right.
You are checking.
Void is just the edge of the knot he's bouncing off.
You're
Just
bouncing
the
off
edge
of the
of the
knot
knot.
there, Pete. Yeah.
Yeah.
The edge of it. You have a grain
Yeah, it
change
just sounded like
there
I was
as well.
turning air for a stage there.
That'd be a real hard bit, probably. Wardle said his son's 6'5". Lucy says, 6'9", and he has size 15 feet. 15 feet.
Whoa.
The shoes get made in the shipyard or what?
Yeah, it depends on the style of the shoe. I can go up to size 14 quite easily.
Wow.
Um,
I've got
I've
size
got,
8 feet.
Size
Hey.
13, quite wide feet. So
Small feet, small hands I've got.
They'll grow. They'll grow.
Not now. Unless I get run over by a steamroller.
right,
Oh,
that feather's gone.
Pete's
We'll
found the
reinvent
nerve
this
in.
bit.
Oh, that looks better. Lucy says she's a size 2. That's her shoe size, I take.
Yeah, but for her height, she's got big feet.
That's true.
There you go, Ruby. I'm being careful.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Yeah, I got about 7 inches to go yet. Something like that.
I don't think so, Pete.
That's a linear measurement, not a depth measurement.
Gonna go with this gouge. I think. Bits of that filler are just flying out.
That cow just cutting nicer.
Yeah, when I have a flat area like that, I tend to go to a 60-degree gouge.
That's what I've done. Quite a flat area. It's also I'm running at 470 RPM. Any more than that, the lathe starts walking.
Well, that means you have to slow your cut considerably because as you get closer to the center, it's not going that fast.
Dr. Klenkopf says Lucy's that small she can't reach the uppercase letters on the keyboard.
That's cruel.
Oh, stop. Oh, God, you've some sense of humor, buddy.
And Andy, the Valley wood turner, is leaving us. He has to say goodnight because he has to be up at 3:45 to drive to Colchester to deliver some steel joists.
Oh,
Good night,
good
Andy.
night.
Take care, Andy. Safe
Drive,
travel,
good
mate.
night.
safely.
Yep, have a good day tomorrow, buddy.
That's a gorgeous looking piece of wood.
It is.
It is, isn't it?
It is definitely.
As Rob points out, it's Family Day tomorrow here in Canada.
Oh, you have a specific day for Family Day, do you?
Yep.
Hmm.
Some people take their kids to work and some people stay home with their kids. The whole idea is for the family to be together.
Cool. Lucy says, even Keza seems to be getting tall. Going to be interesting telling them off in a few years. Oh, you just stand on a chair, look down on them, it's fine. Easy, Lucy.
Are you speaking from experience, Brian?
Yeah, my son's far taller, and my son is far taller than I am. Yep. But
And
then,
he's a big lad as well.
if you have the voice of authority, it makes no difference the size.
No, you have to be able to arch your eyebrow the right way. Teachers learn that skill.
Mm-hmm. It's all in the look.
That's right.
Somebody says, what about the other 363 days? You just ignore family?
No, we don't ignore family those days.
No, it's just a special celebration day. It's another excuse, I think, for card companies or something.
I was
to
just going to say, Pete, how you
sell
doing today?
something. Oh, you're watching. You're being real technical now, watching that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I've still got,
The platter started to become transparent.
nah, still got 5 or 6 inches yet, I'm sure.
Oh, you're fine.
We're fine.
5 or 6 inches. You mean 5 or 6
Yeah.
mils?
One or the other. What's the difference?
Not much, Pete. Keep going.
Rob says, my eldest grandchild is 6 inches taller than his mum, and he's still scared of her. And so he should be. You shouldn't be scared of her, but you should respect her enough to do what she says.
Good
It's as simple
heavens,
as that,
Rob,
really.
you don't look old enough to have a grandchild.
Oh, there you go again. I'm starting to worry about you, Ruby Claire.
Although my mum was small, but she'd a mean flick with a tea towel.
She's small but mighty. Yeah. My mum was small too, but she'd a mean whack with a plastic slipper that she used to own.
Good heavens, Rob. He has 6 grandchildren.
Ah.
What did you do? Get married when you were 10?
Oh.
Andy says he's even scared of Lucy sometimes.
That surprises me not. I'm not afraid of Michelle at all.
Thanks, Rob. I like you too.
Brian, you're a liar.
Yeah, true. She picks on you when you're vulnerable. She's trying to poke me in the ribs today.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No, it surprised me not one iota. I was kind of thinking to myself, I wish it was 25 years ago or 30 years ago. I could go into my cupboard and get the flak jacket back out.
Yeah, I think we're thin enough there. Down to about 2 inches now.
2 inches.
Something like that.
Pete Zimbad wants to know what you do with all your wood shavings.
They go in a bin, and the council takes them away and makes them into compost.
All recycled.
I bag mine up and I take them next door and dump them in my neighbor's garden.
That's a good one, Ruby.
I could do that, but the neighbours get upset if I do that.
Well, except for the ones that have walnut. The walnut that goes in a different area. That would be disaster to put that in the garden.
Yeah, it messes up the concrete, I believe.
I use mine for my horses, except for the ones that are poisonous, obviously.
Which would be the yew and the walnut.
Yew and walnut, yep.
Laburnum as well.
Laburnum.
Oh,
That's about it, really.
Sinbad says he goes to the nearest river bank and opens a shavings account. I like that.
It's wood chips are biodegradable, which is a good thing. You can compost them, but they do take a good while to compost.
I have a buddy who breeds poultry, and he comes and takes all mine.
Yeah, there you go. That's the very place for them. They'll get mixed in with it. Yep.
Chicken manure.
Chicken poop,
Perfect.
and then It'll rot down much quicker with chicken manure in it.
And Steve is warning you, Pete, not to go as thin as the goblet he made.
Oh, is there a story there, Steve?
I would get upset if Pete went too thin on this, especially a pretty
So
piece of
would I.
wood like this.
It needs to have a bit of bulk to it, I think, this piece.
Yeah, well, the edge is going to be quite bulky. You'll see what I'm going to do with that in a minute. Yeah, it's about weight as well. You see something like this, and you pick it up. If it doesn't weigh anything, it feels like plastic. If it's got a bit of weight to it, then you appreciate it more, I think.
Just remember, Pete, something light for you might not be light for a smaller person.
I'm starting the sanding with 80 grit again because I'm really just not getting the speed on this to get the cut that I would like. It's because I've kept the veiny edge and the corners aren't level, so there's just no way this will ever turn into balance. I don't want it to. I want that to be odd.
Rob finished his piece. I'm glad to hear that. Martin, I've seen Pete's porridge bowl, and it's a lot bigger than you'd think.
A bucket.
A 13-inch fire bucket. Steve Perkins says he put some of his in his garden to help break up the clay. Yep, it's good fibre. It should help to break the clay up a bit.
That's why we use it in the gardens here. This is a very lowland area, and so being a former lake bottom, most of the soil here was natural soil as clay.
We have what is commonly termed as a clay loam. So basically when you dig it up, if you squeeze it in your hand, it'll form clumps rather than be sandy and break up. So it's a bit tough to deal with sometimes, particularly when it gets wet.
Mm-hmm. It was very hard plowing in the springtime on the tractor through the clay. A lot of times what we do over here is we would plow it in the fall, and then let the winter break up all of the
Yeah.
chunks,
Yeah, let it sit
and
over.
then, and then disc it in the spring.
That's what used to happen all the time, and
Yeah.
certainly in this country.
Yeah,
When I
for
was
sure.
growing up, we did agricultural in school. Well, you were taught that plough it, in autumn time, and leave it over winter to get the frost in it and break it all up, and then harrow it just at the in springtime to make a seed bed.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have machines that do everything in one pass.
So back in the Neolithic days, most of the toxins that kill us these days didn't exist. And the reason they exist is that we ploughed the fields.
Well, we're actually heading back in the direction of no ploughing nowadays.
Yeah.
They're not actually turning over. So what ploughing does basically is it lifts 4 inches of soil and turns it over. So as it buries the green stuff on top, and you've got 4 inches of soil on top, which kills the green stuff, and that's supposed to put that back into the eco-culture. But nowadays, they're actually not doing that anymore. They're seeding through the crop that was there before.
Yeah. Leave the
rather
ground as
than plough it.
undisturbed as possible.
Yep. There's actually grants now for people not to plough ground. And
Yeah,
I mean,
most
I
of
kind
the
of put,
toxins in the world, they're what we call anaerobic, in as much as they don't like oxygen. So they came from underground, where there's less oxygen. And it's only because we dug them up that they exist in our world.
is this line you put on there marking the same as the line on the back, or
This is
Yes.
for the, and this is for your bead, is it?
Not sure on that yet.
oh, nice bead on there.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my lathe off because I'm going to be using the indexing. And I am that daft that when I got the index locking pin in, I am likely to touch the on switch on the lathe. Been done before. And
And
I'm going
out
to bring
comes
this
the
tool into
chainsaw.
place. It's the Arbortech
Ooh.
with a 2-inch cutting disc on it. It's got carbide either side. And what I'm planning to do is basically cut V channels down to approximately this line. So I should go overhead for that.
That was the halfway line you marked in the beginning.
Approximately this halfway line, yeah.
Yep.
Which will leave me just a little bit of natural edge there. A little bit of bow there. That bow is where I had a bit of bark on the other side. I just trimmed that off with a sandpaper. So sort of we're coming down about here. So we've got a little bit there. All of this will obviously be hand sanded and rounded in and shaped to fit. Yeah, there's the original line. So that's what we're going to try.
Sounds like a plan.
Now, John McGee and Benjamin have both joined us.
Good evening.
Hey, John and Ben, welcome along.
Now this might get
Ben's
horrendously
been
noisy, so
yeah.
if I am
Well, we'll
noisy, just tell me and I'll just turn off my mic.
yeah, you're all right. We'll talk over you. It's fine. Ben's been in bed all evening with a headache, but he's better now. Thank goodness for that, Ben.
Good on you, Ben.
Rob from Woods, Woodsley Summercroft says ploughing releases carbon dioxide in the spring plough. It does. That's what they're doing. They're trying not to get people to plough, so the carbon remains captured in the soil.
We forgot to tell Pete to change camera.
Pete, change cameras.
Oh, right. Let's go for that one. No, not that one. That's rubbish.
Yeah, too close.
Go for that one.
Perfect.
Perfection.
Perfect.
That thing is wicked to cut, isn't it?
It is. It's a beast of a little tool. That's the same cutter I use on my little Proxon,
Yeah.
which hasn't got the same power as that machine, but it does the job just the same.
Yeah, same. Just this is industrial scale. I actually don't normally use this for this sort of work. I normally use this to make big bits of wood have flat spots on them, so I can put mounting plates on them and stuff. Yeah, an anti-texture normally, and I've got all these little things in my head saying sand it smooth, sand it smooth. No, it's going to be textured. That bit that came flying out earlier, I'll hide that now.
Yeah, you'll be able to disguise it.
The reason I'm putting the pencil line on there is just to remind me which way the curve's going.
That thing just eats away the wood.
Does.
Yeah, it's quite aggressive.
It is, really is good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does come with 2-inch sanding discs as well, which are also very aggressive because of the speed of it. But I wanted to be brutal, so.
This is not the normal. This is not what we normally see this tool being used as. We usually
No.
see it being used to put lines in
Yeah, on its edge. Used
Yeah.
on its edge, rather than using it as a proper carving tool. I'm liking this effect.
I mean, it's still aggressive like that.
Oh yeah.
Rob says, wait, you could have been sanding.
Could have been, yep.
He might still have to.
Yeah, you're just a little over the
Oh,
halfway mark now, Pete.
I just sort of thought there.
What's that?
But see the bit that's left? That corner, the one corner that's left?
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to make that nice and shiny.
No,
one shiny
finish it all the way around. Now,
Ooh.
Peter, you still going to put a bead around the top edge?
Probably. Just at least tidy up this edge and lose it in the bead. But actually, I'm considering what Brian's saying there. If he'd told me before and I'd have had it on that whole edge, I'd have left that.
No, I
You're
don't.
committed now, Pete.
Now, let's go for it. At the end of the day, it's only firewood, isn't it?
Well, then you'll
This
just
one,
have to hold on to it for me so I can bring it home.
Lucy says it looks rough and ready in a good way.
Now, Lucy's giving you heck, Pete. She says you burn things that you really shouldn't because they're lovely.
What's wrong with burning lovely things?
And Rob says 58 people watching for 100 minutes, the most stylish piece of firewood ever.
and somebody says it looks a bit like a moon crater. Kind of smooth on the outside and rough on the outside.
No, not quite. Make sure you people hit the thumbs up button for Pete.
I think Rob underestimates me anyway. I've burnt more stylish things than this before.
Nah, you won't be burning this one, Pete.
No,
He better not.
you won't be. I'll be buying it first.
That or I'll be putting it in my suitcase. Todd says that most people don't sand their firewood, but Rob
was
would
just
like
reading
it if they did.
Of course I do, don't they, Rob? Do you want to switch to the overhead a minute? That's kind of the effect I wanted to get. So you've got that sort of rustic, damaged edge looking, which will catch the flames nicely for the firewood.
No, this is a great piece, Pete. You could fetch $5,000 for this down in London somewhere, in a gallery.
Rob says that he encourages people to sand their firewood because he would hate for them to get a splinter. That's very thoughtful of you, Rob. Sibad is suggesting you scorch the corners. I don't think so. I think that would take away from it.
Okay, so that's all the way around. Turn that off because I'm scared of it.
Albert Dawson says, go ahead, Ruby, go on.
Albert, that's a Proxon that Pete was using to do the carving with.
Let's have a look at the tool again, Pete.
Arbortech is the same as a Proxon, but bigger.
It's the Arbortech.
Okay, Arbortech, Proxon, they're both the same.
Yeah. Just that this is, I think it's about twice the speed.
Yep.
And much more industrial, basically.
Yeah,
As
so more
Brian was saying,
powerful tool.
normally you use it upright, so you're getting just the width of the blade, which makes it very easy to control. I just wanted to turn it sideways and see what happened. And I did it on a plank and just the end of a plank, and I like the effect. So,
And Susie is saying don't put a bead because that would take away the wild look.
I agree.
I agree as well.
so where's it going? It's going to go there. So that's the effect I was aiming at. You see that?
That's what you got.
It's achieved. You've achieved it.
Um,
Good.
Particularly on this edge because that's the actual real pointy edge. Once I sand this bark off, that will then resemble the others. But that's going to be a lot of hand sanding to get that finished. But that's what I was looking for, just that rustic edge that looks like it's natural, rustic, all the way around, really.
Now, Andy says that's a nice hole for hanging it up, and I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't put any resin in that. That would have been awful.
That's true. You'd ruin your reputation.
Right, I'm not going to sand this by hand on alive. What I will do, though, is just
Soften the edges.
knock a couple of corners off and then take the fluffy bits off, as Brian says.
The fuzzies.
The fuzzies, yeah.
Beautiful piece of wood.
It really is, yeah.
I'm planning to do the same on here as I did on the front. I will polish up and wax the inside bit and just oil the outside bit. But for the sake of the viewers,
A little wheel would be nice for doing that right now. A sanding wheel.
yeah,
You know, like a flap wheel.
yeah. Yeah, I have those. I have the Klingspor version of that, which I will probably be using on this. So there's quite a little bit of work to be done to actually get the line exactly as I want it on these edges. But could you have all taken the trouble to come in and visit us this evening? I'm just going to chuck a bit of oil on top of that so you can have a quick look at it. Because it's going to take actually quite a few hours now to get this refined down to where I want it. And it's not going to be good watching.
Well, for most of your viewers, that'll be past their bedtime.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime. But also,
Don't be ridiculous, Pete.
that's most of it's done by hand. with the lathe turned off, I can drink beer while I do this bit. So, you know,
I would think a brush would be easier.
brush
to
would be
do in
much
that
be
easier.
way.
easier.
Much,
We'll
much
get one.
simpler.
Then I've got to find something to put the oil into. There it is.
What's
Now,
that Danish oil, Pete? Is it?
This is Danish oil, yeah. I wouldn't use a burnishing oil on this because you're not going to be able to burnish it, are you?
No.
That would be a little difficult.
So yeah, it'll be a Danish oil finish.
Oh no, it's Andy wants to make sure that's not 10W40 oil.
No, it's not 10W40. This is actually a Libron Danish oil, which I quite like. And I'm also lazy, and they have it in my local shop, so that's why I use this one.
It's really bringing out the colors nicely.
It is. It's a stunning piece of wood. It really is.
See, I can't rotate it with a little bit of hardboard underneath, and it stops it.
Talking about maximising your lathe.
Yeah, it would have been okay if it'd been on balance. I'm a little bit disappointed in my cutting on this because I wasn't getting the speed that I wanted.
Hmm.
So it was,
Yeah, well, it looked okay.
I was chasing the cuts rather than having them flow. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Sometimes it just works, and sometimes it just feels like you're working hard to get there.
Now, are you going to continue the oil on the center?
No. The center I am going to wax. So I will have a shiny center and a matte outside. That's the plan.
Well, you could oil it and then wax
I can oil
it.
and wax over it, yeah, yeah. But,
Danish
That-
oil
that
will buff anyway.
Yeah, well, you give it enough coats, yeah.
yeah,
That'll give it consistency and color going from the outer edge in.
you can't talk to me about consistency in color. You're the one who puts different colors on things and comes up with things called pictures, like
Yeah.
birds and really, really good stuff. That I
Well,
can't
you've got
do.
oil on the inside of it now anyway.
I
You
have
may as well
now
do the whole,
anyway. Yeah,
you may as well do the whole thing now.
teach me to pay attention, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but yeah.
But
The outfit is in. Evening, Glenn.
Evening, Glenn.
evening, Glenn. Yeah, I mean, I've said I haven't finished braces on the outside, definitely, and the inside I will be taking up. A bit
Oh
smoother
no,
than it
Sandy
is.
says, Pete, I've also received my Ashwood adapter. Very well made, he says.
Cool. Glad you like it. They are very good.
Yeah, they are very well made and well presented in the little boxes and stuff as well, I have to say.
Yeah,
Nice.
that had nothing to do with me. That was Alex who did all the
Mhm.
all the presentation and stuff.
Yep,
All I
it's
did
well
was
done.
come up with a couple of designs because that wasn't the first design we had. We did some testing with other designs.
Now yours has 2 screws, doesn't it?
It does have 2 screws, yeah. It's
That's important.
I think so. Things do shake loose when you move them about and vibrate them, and lathes do move things about and vibrate them. So having that backup screw, I think, makes a difference.
There's definitely no harm anyway having the second screw in it.
Doesn't hurt to have 2 screws, does it?
Benjamin says he's been turning cedar today and it was very soft.
Does your workshop now stink of it?
Yeah, it does. There's a bit of a smell of it, all right.
Yeah, but cedar's not a bad smell. And it'll keep insects and the like out.
For me, it's a terrible smell. It builds up. When I first start turning it, I love it. After a couple of hours of turning it, my workshop entirely stinks of it. And after about 3 hours, the headache starts. And when
No.
I've done a lot, then I can't come back into the workshop for up to a week.
Hmm.
Whilst I let whatever causes the smell, the chemical that causes the smell, dissipate, or I get an instant migraine.
No,
John
John,
McGee.
go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, sorry, Ruby. John McGee is letting his imagination run wild here. He says the oil is bringing out the colour and shape on the grain very nicely. I can see this piece representing a UFO landing area in the Arizona desert or a similar terrain. Very good.
Sounds like a challenge, that, doesn't it? Photoshop it into something.
Make sure you put some inside that void as well.
I will, but it's got dust in there at the moment, Ruby, so I'm not going to do it now.
Clean it out a bit first.
Well,
Yeah.
one big huff and puff, and that'll be gone.
If I had a big compressor that could actually blow hard enough to blow that out, it would. But
Oh,
Pete's poor. He hasn't got a compressor.
don't forget, up until yesterday, I was still testing positive for COVID. Today, I tested negative for the first time.
Yeah.
He's only running
Yeah,
on half
better.
puff.
Yeah. So
Yours-
puffing and puffing.
You also get
have
your
to
shout
wait.
at John McKee. Stop drinking now. John.
well, one time a fellow in the southern states gave me a piece of camphor to turn, and my entire house for 3 months smelt like camphor.
Yeah, that is pretty potent, that camphor, isn't it?
It was great. I just wished I'd had more. Oh, that is gorgeous, Pete. Absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful piece of wood.
It's a beautiful piece, yeah, definitely.
Guess what I remembered again, guys?
Nicely, yeah. You remember to take the grub screw out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't forget, Pete.
Oh, you're some help you. I have to tell you. One job I gave you. I mean,
That's what friends are for, Brian.
Right. I'm leaving this on the truck because, as I said, I haven't finished it.
yeah.
Um,
It's a beautiful piece of wood enhanced by a lovely piece of turning, Pete. Well
and
done.
it's horribly out of balance as it is, so I don't want to take it off the truck and put it back on slightly out and make it even worse.
No.
There you go.
Wow.
Super
That
job,
looks
Pete.
great.
Super job is right. I'm gonna like to see that piece when it's finished and see the back as well. Gorgeous.
Yeah,
Well,
it's,
once Lisa sees it, that'll be the end of it.
yeah, but she's not here tonight, so you know, if I burn it before tomorrow, it's gone.
Oh my
No.
I'm not burning this one, I don't think. We'll see.
You'd better not, because if you even think about it, you better just put it in the mail to me.
If it comes up to my sort of expectation of what I think it will be, which is not there yet, then it'll go on sale. If it doesn't sell, then I'll burn it.
I would think so, Pete.
Anyhow,
Great job, Pete.
bring the guys
Some lovely
back
comments in there about it as well.
Lucy is shouting at you again, Pete. Don't burn it.
And Ben
see.
wants to know if you're going to wipe off the excess oil
in. Yeah,
or let it sit.
No,
I'll
you'll
take
have
I'll
to
take
wipe
that
it
off in 10 minutes or so. But as I said, I'm going to resand this anyway, so it's not finished to my standards yet.
Chris,
The oil's
Chris
put on
Dodd
to
designed
make it
it.
show.
Oh, Chris.
Chris, welcome. Better late than never, he
Hi,
says.
Chris.
Nice work, Pete.
You're looking at the
Anyhow.
show from the
Yeah.
wrong end.
Todd at Glen Cove says if you don't want to sell it, you could donate it to Steve's auction.
Yeah, but Steve's got enough of the auction already.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right, the lathe is turned off.
The Dune bar is now open.
Watch the
Man,
Lathe
dust
is
away.
turned
I
off.
haven't had a Dune bar since before Christmas.
I haven't had a
Oh,
dim bar
no.
for the last few weeks because Terry's not
No
not been
alcohol.
here.
He
I have
didn't
plenty of
even
alcohol.
give me a Doom bar the last time I visited him.
Ah,
did.
that's
You
ridiculous,
liked
Pete.
it.
No, I didn't have one.
Ben Chalmers says,
Uh,
"Oh no, is that Doom bar warm?"
Yeah. Been in the
Yeah,
workshop
afraid
for
so.
several hours.
Yorkshire Glitz on
Anyway.
Stella. Yeah, okay. I thought you
Cheers,
I thought
everyone.
you drank beer.
Glenn says he's on Stella.
And John McGee says that piece is a keeper, seeking a home in Ontario, I reckon.
Yep.
Yeah, Pete, you're getting plenty of offers.
Yeah, if we get it
Lucy
finished,
says,
we'll stick it up and see what happens.
Lucy says she'll make sure I have a proper beer.
Oh, she will.
Actually, I kind of prefer Labatt's Blue over here.
Now, you got to be careful with that, Lucy. She gave me a fruit juice and said it was beer. God, I drank it. It was pure sugar. Passion fruit and something or another beer. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for coming in. I've got another project next weekend. I've also got a party Friday and Saturday night next week. Got the guys
Ooh.
coming around to do some planning, so I'll be turning with a hangover next weekend. And I will be turning
Cool.
the very first thing I ever did as a lathe,
Oh,
which I messed up. And I'll be trying to get it right this time.
A
And
piece
I
of
have
wood.
Mike Walt, Wayne Clasper, and Mark Beckett have all been instructed to take the piss out of me something wicked. I've got at
Good.
least those three in. And I'll see you next weekend.
excellent.
So, from my wonderful support crew and from me. Hang on, put
Take
me
care,
on there.
everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for
Good night,
coming in.
everybody.
Everyone
Cheers,
have
everyone.
have a
Take
good
care.
week.
See you next week. Now we do the
Thanks,
See
Pete.
you next week.